Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the latest episode of Red Dissection. In this episode, we try to analyze and make sense of United's latest tragic defeat against Galatasaray in the Champions League. United slumped to their sixth loss in 10 matches this season, second in the Champions League, and our first ever against Galatasaray. A Galatasaray team that hadn't scored away from home in last 17 Champions League fixtures. A Galatasaray team that hadn't won in England ever. A Galatasaray which was far from full strength side. It had Zaha, who was half fit, Icardi, who barely ran, Davison Sanchez in as centre back in the defense, and Torreira in midfield. And yet, we were thoroughly embarrassed on this night. United stay at the bottom of the table with Bayern Munich having secured 2 wins, going right at the top of the table. They must be confident in securing the top spot, and United are struggling to even get the Europa League spot at this moment. United will play Copenhagen next, both home and away. And if we don't get 6 points, then we can not just the Champions League, we can say even Europa League goodbye, and that will be end of our European participation this season. United started well. They were bright on the ball, trying to counter-attack and run behind the defensive line. Højlund was really impressive, really bright, really quick and powerful. Mason Mount was also linking up play well. Rashford was decent in the first 30 minutes. Even Amrabat and the back four was fine until the first goal. We had the instructions to go quickly behind the line and trying to go long as soon as we got the ball, like 1-2 passes and straight behind the defense. In one such move, we caught them off guard, and Rashford was clean through, and he pulled a great cross in, and Højlund was able to score from a header. But sticking to the pattern of this season, we scored, and soon after we conceded an easy and cheap goal. Dalot was manhandled by Zaha, who seemed half fit, to be honest, and he was completely flummoxed by him, and was not able to clear the ball before it bounced. And suddenly, after a couple of bounces, Zaha was able to have a crack at goal, and the deflected shot went over Onana in the goal. After that, we seemed to lose confidence in our own ability, and until halftime, we never seemed to get back momentum back in our favor. At halftime, Mabry was surprisingly hooked off for Eriksen, who came in, and we continued with the pattern of throwing long balls to the right flank and crossing the ball in for Højlund. With Mabry going off, we suddenly lacked energy in midfield, and Galatasaray grew into the match. It was one of their defensive mistake that led to the second goal, with Højlund running from half line straight to the goal and chipping it over the keeper. But returning to form, we conceded straight after that again, like in a space of 4 minutes. Sofian Amrabat lost his man, and then Casemiro and Varane weren't able to cover the on-rushing Artoglu, who was their brightest player on the night. Another clanger from Onana led to Casemiro red card. Icardi missed the penalty, but immediately after that, Amrabat, who looked more and more susceptible, he played a long ball, which Davison Sanchez was able to easily clear, with Icardi running through onto the goal and chipping it over, faltering Onana again. With 10 men and a deficit, we had no chance to come back into the game, and the rest of the match ended with a whimper. Coming to player ratings for Manchester United, Andre Onana gets the lowest possible score. He was horrendous throughout the match, but especially in the second half. He made a mistake trying to catch one of their crosses that started this streak of self-doubt within our back line. Then he made the clanger for Casemiro red card. The penalty, he died well, so he might get some credit for putting off Icardi. But for the third goal, he was again found wanting. He dove so quickly that Icardi's mind was made up for him, and he chipped the ball easily over on Dalot. Actually played all right, considering that the only mistake he committed led to the goal. But his overall game is still fraught with these kind of mistakes and lapses of concentration. Zaha was kept quiet, mainly because he didn't look fit, and Dalot had an easy night, but even then he was able to give away one simple and avoidable goal. Varane looked a shell of his former self. He doesn't look assured both on the ball and even off the ball. I mean, he was running funnily all throughout the night. He wasn't able to cover his man both on the second and the third goal, and was caught napping on the third one, especially. This is troubling. He's supposed to be a best centre back and a leader, but his performances have left certainly a lot to be desired. Victor Lindelof was to blame for the third goal, especially with Amrabat, of course. He doesn't have the recovery pace. Once he commits, he's so easily beaten. For the second and third goal, he is not able to read danger into the box. They only had one player, Artokoglu, who scored for the second goal, and our two centre backs couldn't pick him up. Even the defensive mid of Casemiro was blind to his run. So this was a bad night for Lindelof. Sofian Amrabat had a mixed game. He had a brilliant first half, so composed on the ball. Defensively, he was strong. But once they changed their right winger and brought on Yilmaz, who was physically dominating, Sofian Amrabat lost his cool. Second and third goal, he was directly responsible for both goals. And the right winger, Yilmaz, certainly had him on toes on a couple of occasions. It was a forgettable night for Sofian Amrabat. Casemiro was the second worst player for United after Onana. He had a terrible game, a nightmare. Ended with a early sending off. He wasn't comfortable on the ball, kept giving away the ball more so than even Bruno Fernandes, and it was one of his worst game in the Man United shirt. Mason Mount was our second best player after Rasmus Højlund. He was bright, connected play well, especially in the first half, because he's coming back after injury layoff. He doesn't seem to last the 90 minutes. So in the second half, he was mostly anonymous. But his overall play was all right, and his first half performance was certainly uplifting. Bruno Fernandes was captain absent, captain missing in action. He was anonymous. He's so petulant even when he's not visible, but he didn't have anything good to bring to the game. He was wasteful as usual, nothing exceptional. So I can't point him less because of that, because he usually does that in every match, even when he plays well. But not a performance that we'd hope from a captain and a leader. And I've said enough about Bruno, so there's nothing much more to add. And until he gets dropped, which I don't think he will be one of the reasons for Ten Hag to get the sack. Hannibal Mabry was bright and he pressed well. He should have taken one of the chances. He miscontrolled the ball while running behind the defense. Surprisingly, was hooked off at halftime, which I thought was a mistake by Ten Hag. Even though Eriksen did improve our overall passing, but we certainly lack energy. And by the 70 and 80 minute, our legs were gone, and no wonder that we conceded two late goals, and we looked so tired and leggy in the final stretch of the match. Marcus Rashford started well. He got an early assist. He was bright. He was less wasteful. He was trying to get involved with other players and pass and move a bit. But as soon as they scored and we conceded our first goal, and the heads were down, he seems to lose any kind of self-belief and confidence. His game completely breaks down at the most fundamental level, and he was just anonymous after that. He was hooked off in the middle of the second half, and honestly, he could have been subbed earlier, even then. But he just leaves a lot to be desired, and he's just not cutting at this level right now, and he needs to be benched for a prolonged period of time. Rasmus Højlund was the star of the match. He was exceptional in all facets of the game. As a striker, it was a complete performance by Rasmus Højlund. He got two different goals, completely different. One with a solid header, and another with a lung-busting run and a cute finish to dink over the keeper. Even his disallowed goal was so impressive, and it was a performance that makes you get out of your seat. And Old Trafford certainly has a star finally to fill the shirts and fill the hearts of our fans with some kind of confidence. And He has all the things required for to be a top striker at this club. He has pace, he has strength, he has clinical finishing in him, and this match certainly could be the making of a great player ahead for our club. With substitution, Christian Eriksen came on in for Hannibal at halftime. He was good with the ball. He was playing deep and trying to spray the ball on to both the flanks. But obviously, defensively and physically, he's not good enough. And certainly, with the last two goals and in the last stretch of the match, he was found wanting and sadly not good enough for this club at this moment. Anthony was largely anonymous. He didn't make any kind of difference when he came on. Maybe he's not match fit because he hasn't played for a couple of weeks, but he didn't make any kind of impact on the match. Same goes for Alejandro Garnacho. Even though he had a good shot which was blocked, and he looked bright, but at this stage at this level of football, he lacks that composure because of his age and experience, maybe. But sadly, he didn't have that impact that we would have hoped for after Rashford was subbed off. And certainly, if we want to move Rashford off of his starting spot and berth, then he needs to do more in the opportunities that he gets. Anthony Martial had a good shot at the end. He was probably offside. Apart from that, he didn't get too much time or ball possession to contribute. But like always, he was comfortable in possession. He drops deep and likes to link up play with the striker. And Eric Ten Hag needs to, given the fact that he is fit, he needs to start both Hoyland and Martial to see what kind of partnership they can strike, because those two players are our best bet in terms of getting a goal. And this weekend he needs to get a start. I think this coming weekend against Brentford, he needs to get a start. Both Hoyland and Martial, we need to see their partnership, and he'll be a good foil for Hoyland, who likes to run behind. He could slip in a through ball for him or two. So he needs to start in the coming match. Eric Ten Hag gets the lowest score again. I mean, first of all, it is by design and by instruction that we are playing long ball. Even Onana just lumps the ball forward to the striker Hoyland. This tactic just leaves us so porous to counter attacks. We are not able to retain the ball, and like so Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and Rashford just lump the ball forward or just lose easy possession of the ball, and we end up trying to run back and cover all sorts of distance just to save a goal. This is not something that can be sustained, and we can already see that by the time 70 and 80 minute mark comes around, we are completely out of it. We are completely devoid of any kind of energy, and we are not able to hold off our opponents even to secure a draw. Yes, we lost all three goals due to individual mistakes, but those mistakes are in a pattern and they keep on repeating themselves. It's up to the coach to iron out these errors, and all the errors that were committed were done by his own players that he has brought in and hand selecting them to start all these matches. So he needs to take the brunt of the blame. In the end, this loss leaves us in a very precarious situation in the group. If we get 6 points against Copenhagen, which I highly doubt, then we may still have a chance to qualify for the knockout stage in the second spot. But we'd be hoping, inshallah, for a gift from Bayern Munich, who we'd hope can get all 6 points against Galatasaray. Also, most likely, they will need to win in Turkey as well as a home game against Bayern Munich. But certainly, I won't hang my hat on that happening, because the mistakes we are committing and the kind of errors that we are seeing, they point to and they are symptomatic of a larger problem. And until we are able to retain the ball and keep the ball and avoid getting counter-attacked every minute, and put an end to this pin ball football, then I can't see us having any sustained run of good results. With another home match looming at the horizon against Brentford on the weekend, it is a must-win again. And if we don't get 3 points, not just a draw, then the pressure would be even higher for Ten Hag to get the sack. A loss on the weekend could prove to be the final nail in the coffin, with the international break following that. With no clarity in regards to possible takeover, Ten Hag has been helped with the fact that I don't think Glazers would like to make that kind of decision about sacking another manager so soon. So he has been given a reprieve in a manner of speaking. But if we lose again on the weekend, there could be a seventh loss. This has already been our worst start to the campaign since 1986. So I don't see many more lives for Ten Hag. And if we are not able to secure a win on the weekend, then I don't see him lasting even till December. With that difficult analysis out of the way, we look forward to possibly a good match on the weekend against Brentford, which I highly doubt. They are strong physically and are able to press well like they did against us in their home fixture last season, the 4-0 loss. So I wouldn't be too optimistic of any kind of positive result on the weekend. But we'll be back with our preview for that in our Red Prep show. Please join us for that, and please like and subscribe the channel. Keep promoting the video, keep liking and commenting. So until we meet, take care of yourself, do good. Assalamu alaikum.